Good afternoon. My name is Owen. I'll be your host this evening. I am here in my green room back office, sitting amongst some things that you would normally put in storage, but I happen to have this room. Lots of things that I'm planning on giving away or maybe selling on eBay or finding some use for. And I wanted to record this video today to basically just tell you what I'm doing because it's exciting, and I'm doing something that has to do with you too. The whole point of, I guess, this video, this channel, kind of my life, is I want to help people. I want to help the planet. That sounds nice. How do we help people? How do we help the planet? Well, helping people, the big thing right now is we live in this world where we have these, economies, where we use money. We spend our days doing work and jobs to make money so that we can pay for the places we live in. And also to pay for like basic things like food, and a bunch of other little things. It's how we say, okay, you can or you can't do something. It's sort of like, well, how much of this stuff do you have, this money stuff? And and it really bogs down a lot of people. I think it slows us down. I think it makes us kind of waste our time trying to make that money stuff so that we can, I guess, try to just get by. Because that's the society that we've built. Society built by people who like money and who like trying to get more of something for themselves, I guess. So, we could talk about how money's made, but I think the real focus right now is how do we become more productive people? How do we create more value in the world? How do we not do these work job things that we don't like? And how do we do more of the good stuff that makes you yourself happy and thriving, and ultimately then makes you be able to make the world a better place by just being the best version of you, right? So all that's to say, helping us on a temporary basis make money, that's a big deal. And how to ultimately become either essentially free of this financial system somehow, right? So that could be like, into the wild, go into the wilderness, definitely prepared, not like the guy in the book who goes out and then just like doesn't know about the flora and fauna, eats the wrong berries, and then dies alone in a school bus in the wilderness of Alaska because he probably saw this society we're in. This money stuff is so alienating from like what's actually important to be in being a human. And so how do we get out of this sort of rat race financial system, this also kind of like economic infrastructure that's just kind of designed like a Monopoly game to let a couple people win at the top, very fewer than 1%, and make it so that then what they do is, in order for them to ingratiate themselves more, they're gonna, whether intentionally or not, rewrite laws, buy politicians, create these entities called corporations that have no other goal than to make more of this money stuff, even if it destroys people's lives, destroys the planet, undermines everything. And that's kind of what we have right now. We got a economic system where these corporations, they're the new power player, and it's scary to create a world where you're the kings and the gods that have all the power literally give no 2 cents about a single human value. Like, it doesn't compute in their needs and wants. So it's a dangerous thing to have corporations running the world, which they do today. They run our government, they run our society, they run the news, they run all of our information, they run our social media, they run everything. It's wild that we've basically given up, even before AI, we've basically given up our rights and our, destiny of what's going to happen on this planet to these big companies that can do everything they want and only care about making more money and never care about people's health, the environment, education, the quality of human life, heaven forbid, right? Or how well the average person is doing and how they feel. Like, how are they doing? So there's no humanity in sort of the corporate economic model, which is what we're all living in right now. So we've got to find a way out. And I believe the best way out is you activate as many people as you can to stop buying things from these big corporations. Basically try to shift the power. It's two parts. It's not just like, oh, bad thing, we want to get rid of it. That's not the goal here. The goal is to give power to good things and to build good things. And how do we do it? We do it by, well, at the moment, because we're currently in this system, we have to use that system to be able to break out of it, okay? And the way that you do it is we say, okay, well, what power do we have right now, right? We're spending all this time working, right? We don't have too much time. And then we do get some money, and then we do spend that money, right? So we can, much more than voting at the political ballot box, we can vote with our dollars for good companies, for good businesses. Really, it's like your neighbor. It's the model before. It's the model before the big corporation and the big money engine. It was your neighbor made this, your other neighbor made that. The lady down the street makes this thing, the guy down the street makes that thing, and you buy things from them and you help make their life better. And because of the thing that you give them in exchange for the thing that they're sort of selling to you, you now have more of this sort of potential value energy to then give to other people or use it to buy the things you need so that then you can create value in turn, right? That's the old model. That makes perfect sense. And it's all human to human. And it could be a currency based, it could be barter based, doesn't matter. I'm not saying right now, like, oh, we need to start the new economic system now. No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying what we need to do is start building up people-powered and people-based businesses, like supporting the good guys, and stop supporting the bad guys, which are these huge corporations that have so much money and resources and don't need it because 80% of their stocks are owned by billionaires who also don't need the money at all whatsoever. We stop investing in the things that are, corrupting and bribing and distorting our whole planet and kind of destroying society, because they have no prerogative besides money. All they care about is money, versus giving the money to someone down the street who actually gives back in their community. They're a productive, value generating person. They listen to people. They actually have human values. If they see they're doing something that hurts someone, they'll actually stop, right? So there's plenty of corporations that do bad things to the planet and to people that aren't illegal per se, right? Like making people sick, like destroying an ecosystem. Just because a government approved for you to destroy that ecosystem for money doesn't mean it's a good thing, right? Corporations are they're so diluted in terms of the conscious awareness of what they do, because just one tiny fingernail is a person. They don't see what the whole hand is doing, right? So the whole hand's like just, grabbing something, destroying something, creating some, mass scale health problem among people or something, or destroying an ecosystem, or destroying a way of life, or destroying some downtown that, because they built some big business in it, and they're destroying the livelihood of all the small businesses there. They're not aware of that. It's just one person. The accountability isn't even really fully there. They're just also trying to just get by. right? So if you work in a big corporation, it's not your fault that we're living in this system where most people kind of have to work for some big company. But we can change all this, all right? So we're going to start in a couple ways. One is we're going to start making it easier for us to vote with our dollars for good businesses. Okay, so I'm gonna set up, and there's a lot of places right now you could start doing it, but I'm gonna intentionally create a space where people can buy from people, where I'm gonna be listing good, essentially local, privately owned, ethical businesses. How do I determine ethical? We're gonna come up with some rules for that. Okay, and so then you can start, as much as it's possible, you could start voting with your dollars for these good companies. And then here's the big kicker. Here's the big one, is that every single person, you don't have to, but you have the ability to start creating your own money, to start creating your own value. Everyone has, so many people underestimate the value that they have in their own inherent experiences and in their own gained knowledge and skills that they have, such as, let's say someone makes food for their family, right? They, in that process, what they're doing is they're learning how to shop, they're learning how to run a family, or rather, this is knowledge they already have. They're cooking meals, so they're picking out recipes, they're choosing them, they're serving the family, they're running the household, and that is a skill set. It's something learned. You don't come out of the womb suddenly knowing how to do those things, right? So that's just one small example. Another one is how to make friends. Another one is how to do community organizing. Another one is how to make an amazing birthday gift for somebody, how to throw a party, how to heal a relationship, right? How to heal inner wounds and trauma, psychological blocks that we might have. Anything is literally a skill set. And with the internet today, you can create something that is just purely an educational, you could call it a product or a service, that you can provide to someone via the internet, and you can do it in a one-to-many fashion. So let's say it's like you just talking about your experience, like teaching something. Your classroom isn't limited to like how many people you can fit in a room. Your classroom could be stadium size or bigger without a stadium. All you need is the internet and some basic video conferencing tools. And suddenly now, if every person in that conference, that video call is paying you $5 and there's 1,000 people in it, then maybe you've just made, your month's worth of income with this one educational phone call that you did. Of course, how do we get 1,000 people to be on a call with you? That's, kind of a part of a longer process that we're going to talk about, and that this whole channel is going to be about. This is about how do we empower you and me and everyone else we know to start making money, making more money online, how to start voting with our dollars to support the good guys, which also inherently, moves the teeter-totter of power and resources away from the places that currently don't deserve it. And we start shifting that. We start creating a trend where we're actually now buying products from people we know, from small businesses. We're starting a movement, essentially, something that can catch fire and something that can grow very, very quickly if we just do it right and we have the right principles behind it. And we empower people to join this network that we have, this group of people who are selling some type of product or service, and they're a person, right? And they care about the world and they care about society. So it's literally people supporting people through their business, through their trade, through their skill sets, through their education that they provide, using the internet as their leveraging point. In the past, this wasn't really possible. Today, if you have here's an example. Let's say someone has some really random, rare thing that only less than 1% of 1% of people actually care about or need or could use or find value in, right? If you existed before the internet, you basically would never be able to offer that thing, because there would be no magazine that'd want to hold your, do a thing. You'd have to advertise in something that had enough viewership where you could possibly get enough people to be interested, right? Have to be in maybe some huge city, and that's the only place where you could do it. The average person in a small town, there'd be no way they could make a living out of that. But with the internet, that one person with that one skill set, 1% or 1% of the population would be like, 100, 300,000 people in the United States alone who are definitely interested in that thing. And if you create some educational process or course or digital product or, video conference call or coaching thing or a community that people will just want to join, and you just host that community and they pay you $10 a month because they want to be part of it and they want you to keep doing good things for that community through your digital forum, you now are making a very good living doing that very rare thing. And everyone has some very rare thing or from some unique thing that only you can provide, some value that is you. And sometimes it's just your presence, just who you are. And the point here is we can escape this trend that's happening on Earth right now of corporations just owning everything and controlling everything and making life worse and worse and worse for all humans. We can change that. We can reverse it by everyone voting with their dollars for good companies, which means spending less at large corporations that don't care. It means yourself finding ways to make more money yourself if you want to, or if there's someone else in your family who is the money maker and you're focused on other things, that's okay. You can encourage them to join this network, and we will teach them how to build tools, how to build educational resources, and essentially a valuable offer that they can present to people that will, with the power of the internet, with the power of social media, and with the power of this network, they'll be able to start generating income, some of it passively, some of it, the whole point is it's a one-to-many process. Like one person, you could sell that product technically to 100 people, to 1,000 people, right? The goal is to make it easy, and the internet can do that. And a lot of it's going to be also that we're going to be leveraging tools that we have today. We're going to try to leverage AI to the extent that it's going to help us with something, right? We're not going to default our brains to AI, but we're going to use it to amplify our power, to make it faster for us to deploy solutions so we can actually make this world a better place faster. You got me? So that's basically the plan on the short term. It's a big plan, right? And where do we go after that? Well, sky's the limit. I don't want to be like, I'm the one who knows exactly how this is going to look, but I want to help guide this. I want to help, have a hand in making the world a better place. And I want to help empower as many people as I can to be part of that movement where we're helping empower people. We're helping to transform the world and the economy from one that is destroying the world and people to one that is helping the world and helping people. And I want you to, if you've watched this video this far, thank you so much. I love you. Please comment down below. I'm in. If you want to be part of a network that shows you how to make more money and make the world a better place. That's where my heart is. I've looked at so many other things in my life. I've worked with a lot of businesses. I do web development. I do coffee roasting. Kind of random stuff, but I've developed some skills, and particularly throughout my life, I've been just very, very focused on thinking in my mind of how do we make the world a better place. And I believe now with the power of AI, with the power of social media, with the power of just these concepts of voting with our dollars, of working together, of having a community of people with a shared focus, and just having this basic knowledge of knowing that this thing is something that's going to work, I believe we can create something that can spread, that can grow, and that can actually make a massive impact in the world. So if you want to join this network, if you want to join this movement, please let me know in the comments below. Just say I'm in, and subscribe to this channel, like this video. It's going to help algorithm stuff so more people can see this. And if you know someone else who you want to be a part of this thing, please share this video with them. I'm going to start making videos on a regular basis talking about this. I'm going to start building the tools and resources because I'm a web guy, so I can easily start deploying these assets online for us to start organizing, create a place where we can essentially like a directory of all these businesses. If you have a business right now, whether it's a brick and mortar or some digital business, you can join as long as it's like you, the person, If you're the owner and you're a human and it's not some publicly traded corporation, I'm happy to have you join, and we're going to create some list of principles that we follow that basically everyone in this network is going to be part of and passionate about and excited, because this is really something that can make a huge difference in the world. Thank you so much. Love you guys.